Hey everyone, Ken Ross here, and I'm a business consultant that specializes in reducing costs for businesses by looking at their essential expenses. And today I'd like to give you my take on the 5G fiasco, I want to call it, in the States here. Just in case you haven't really been paying attention, the FAA that represent all the airlines, the major airlines, especially like Delta or American Airlines and the like, are fighting with the telecommunications providers like AT&T and Verizon specifically over what we call 5G rollout of the C-band of 5G. And this is something that you need to understand, because one thing that I specialize in is cost reduction, like I said, and I do a lot of research on different things that telecommunications vendors, merchant services vendors, waste providers, and the like, what is really going on and how that really ties to your business. And this is one of those things I feel like is very important for people to understand, because it's a big issue. It's a big thing. It's all over the news if you've been watching it. And this is my take. So my take is simply this. The telecommunications providers and the airlines don't really like to share information. And if you look at what the data shows, and I'll post some links in the description to some of the more official things that have been publicized. The FAA actually has a press release where they talk about what airplanes are covered and which ones aren't. And the telecommunications providers have a website which they've started publishing information. And if you do a simple Google search, you actually will get these links to these documents that basically show that what airlines are doing with their spectrum is they're using their spectrum and it doesn't stay in their lane. That's basically what we're understanding. And that technology over time has changed, right? Because if you think about wireless technology and think about even your own cell phone, for instance, it's not always reliable. And you don't really understand how that works necessarily. But in a roundabout way, the way I can best explain it is that you do have dedicated what we call bands of communication. And the FAA has forever owned what we call the C-band, which is a very high performance band, very reliable, very low latency with some of its technologies. And over time, they've upgraded their infrastructure to stay within that band. Well, 5G is right underneath or right with that same C-band, and they have to play nice, right? And so part of the issue really is with how the airlines have gone about using this band over so long, and how 5G is now coming into its territory. It's kind of like if you invited a guest over to your house and they wanted to start moving in, right? You wouldn't necessarily be that comfortable with them just coming into your space without knowing things. Well, the problem is telecommunications providers aren't providing too much information about how they're using the C-band, right? And there are what we call buffer zones, or zones where there's no communication, right? So that there won't be any overlap of wireless communications between them. But without the information, you're unsure. And that poses a huge safety concern for the airlines and for Verizon and AT&T, who are very interested in starting the higher band, what they call C-band. And if you think about 5G and you've been paying attention, there's what's called ultra wideband for Verizon. That is actually a faster network than standard 5G, right? So without getting too much in the weeds, I'm going to be producing another video that kind of explains some of that. But without getting too detailed, they have a vested interest in ultra wideband. They want to see ultra wideband take hold of the industry. They want everybody to be on 5G. So this would be a big hindrance to that, because hey, who would be their prime target for people to use very high speed, very reliable 5G technology? People on the road, people in business, and airlines are a part of that business. So if you can't provide service at airports at a reliable speed, it's a real knock to your business, right? It's your bottom line. And so not sharing information with the airlines has cost them quite greatly. And the airlines not really sharing information with AT&T Verizon and the like, make them look like big bullies in some sense. So it's a lot of back and forth, a lot of things that really don't make a whole lot of sense unless you're following it specifically. And that's something I do. That's something I want to do for businesses. I want people to not worry too much about the fighting as much or the politics of a certain issue, but understand how to leverage that back and forth to their advantage when it comes to saving money on telecommunications, for instance, because that's something is very important to me. It's very important to other people in business as well. So with that, that's all I really have to say. I'd love to hear your comments about it below in the comments section. I'd also love to hear topics you'd like me to cover. Are there other topics in 5G or in telecommunications that I haven't covered yet? I haven't covered a whole lot of things, but would love to continue to cover certain things in telecommunications, and would love to hear about that below in the comments section as well. As well as if you wouldn't mind subscribing to this channel, liking the video, sharing it with your friends. I would love that. That would be great. I would appreciate it. And so that's what I got today. I'm Ken Ross, and until next time, I'll see you around.